Minis.
Minis. I should move my paint so I can reach it without. I keep ruining my depth perception with the magnifying glass, obviously. And I'm like reaching over here trying to like paint something.
Tash has a magnifying glass.
Yes.
FYI. Do you have a setup of
did I tweet a picture? I haven't. I took a picture.
Okay.
And I will take one after, but I did not because I am a Moomin.
Okay. No, that's fair. That's fair. So, this is touching up, right?
Yeah, because I've missed a couple of spots, and then I'm going to be moving on.
A couple of...
Wow! Look, do you know how difficult it is? This is. I can't even do words. Right. Who out of us has painted minis in the last
me
year?
Oh.
Yeah.
Not me then.
Not you.
Yeah.
So
I painted minis when I was like 9.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I didn't go around touching them up. Hey. That's mostly because I was shit at painting. So yeah, you know.
I'm trying my best, but yeah, I've missed a couple of spots. So I'm just gonna go over those.
Don't forget to add in the cancer.
Right. I mean, I don't have lead belcher. I could make a joke about that. Oh, damn.
That's a shame.
It is a shame. Oops. Sorry, microphone.
That's gonna happen, by the way.
What, the microphone being attacked by my paintbrush?
Well, just you hitting your microphone.
I know. I'm gonna try and find somewhere for it to live that's not there.
Yeah.
It's the kind of the best place for it at the moment. The thing with the first episode, which we obviously discussed beforehand, is finding like what is comfortable. Fine.
That's what we discussed.
It's gonna be fine. Cry? No, I didn't cry. That would be dramatic.
Yeah, it's close.
Finding what is comfortable and like what works is it needs to like have the practical. Oh my god, please. Before I can figure out, and like it's working a little bit better. So
yeah. Oh, are we back in, by the way?
Yes. This whole time since I've been painting.
So.
I thought you were excited to hear about my painting. I was like, oh.
No, I was. I just wasn't sure whether I should start embarrassing myself again.
Oh, I know. Dreadful.
Getting everything wrong. So the war in heaven. You hear that, you think, you know, Lucifer versus gods, rebellion and epic battles of super powerful beings, and essentially the Necrontyr just got fucking wiped off the board until they were like in their home system, the one that keeps trying to kill them.
Oh no! They drove them all the way back.
Yeah. The old ones are like, no.
You go back to whence you came, you heathens.
Yeah, the old ones basically just put the Necrontyr back in their box, and they're like, you can stay there until it kills you. Like, fuck, we're not gonna.
We're not gonna wipe out your race, but we're not gonna not do that.
Yeah. Essentially, it was because okay, so technically, from what I know, the Necrons had better technology in general.
Well, I mean, they had lots of trial and error, right? So
yeah,
kind of makes sense.
Well, the Necrontyr had better technology, but the old ones were just like the webway and the warp gates just kind of kicked the Necrons' ass.
Yeah, like, they would
completely. So that kind of sucked for them. And I think they were imprisoned. They're essentially like secluded. They're in a timeout for about 1,000 years plus, you know.
That's what you get.
And they're trapped on their home world, the one that's been consistently trying to kill them since they've existed.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, you know what? Not just the old ones. Fuck everyone. You know.
I think that's kind of fair.
You know when like in TV shows and stuff, you have like a slightly emo kid who's like a little bit moody.
Villain origin story.
Yeah, and then he gets in trouble, gets sent to his room, and just plays really loud like metal music.
Like me, like yesterday.
Did you get sent to your room?
No, but I did get really grumpy today.
Yeah.
And play loud music.
Essentially essentially that's the Necrons. They've been sent to their room. They're playing like Linkin Park. They're complaining about how no one understands them and how they will have cancer and they're gonna die every and they're like and the cool uncle of the galaxy won't share eternal life with them.
It's just so unfair.
Life is suffering, okay? And my
suffering.
parents don't even understand me. Like it's so hard to like they had it easy. They started on a nice little world that was all nice. I started hard, like a sun that's trying to kill you, radiation.
No one in the universe has it as difficult as me.
Exactly.
Bloody Steve. If he'd have just landed on it where he was supposed to go, it would have been solved.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have a real go at Steve when we talk about the
turns
Tyranids.
up.
Well, no, when we talk about the Tyranids, because we've now established in canon that Steve was responsible for the Tyranids turning up.
Yeah, he missed his planet, ended up with the Tyranids, and he was like, "Oh, new friends."
It's like, hey, friends. Do you know how to get back to the Milky Way galaxy? I think you take it looks like this. It's full of lots of lovely biomass.
It's like that way.
Yeah, it's like that way somewhere. Do
you want to come with me? We can go together.
You want to get an Uber? Like, we can split an Uber, maybe, if you're heading in that direction anyway? Yeah, let's go. Yeah, I'll show you the way there. Yeah, let's go. Fucking Steve.
Oh, Steve. I can't laugh. I'm too painted. It's difficult.
But we're not talking about the Tyranids yet.
No, yet.
We'll talk about Steve's exploits with the Tyranids for a long time. So yeah, basically they just hated everyone, everything, and they're basically like, fuck the galaxy, fuck existence, we're just gonna, we're just gonna kill everyone, the second we stop being grounded, like, oh.
So how did they limit them? Just like say, basically, if you leave, we're gonna kill you properly.
I think anyone who left just got fucking murdered.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have very quick travel, so
yeah. So every time they got the ship up and
they're essentially like their ships, their space travel was essentially a cruise for the elderly, where it takes way longer than it should, and everyone's always asleep.
How can they have such good technology, but it be so garbage?
Well, it's just the travel that's really garbage.
I'm shaking some paint. I should probably shake the silvers. Oh, sorry, camera. Shaking the silver at the same time.
Yeah. So, the Necrontyr are on a timeout in their room, basically grounded.
Linkin Park, hate everyone.
Linkin Park, hate everyone. They're they're getting killed by their fucking star again.
Yeah.
What do you think they do next?
Giant cannon.
No, interestingly. something even more intelligent.
Teleportation?
No. They start killing each other.
Oh. That, the first solution.
Yeah.
That seems like a brilliant idea. Just let's solve everyone dying by killing everyone. I mean, they can't.
They started fighting each other again.
Great. No, super great.
Because they didn't have
anything else to do. Yeah.
Well, they didn't have the unity they used to have, so
that makes sense.
So they're just like, well,
guess we'll go back to hating each other and fighting over feudal areas that we don't own now. Okay.
But the funny thing is because they're now fighting each other, they're like, hey, we can't win this war, obviously.
Obviously.
Like a lot of the dynasties wanted to sue for peace and basically, be like, hey, look, don't kill us. We'll, abide by some kind of peace treaty and surrender. But the Triarch wouldn't let that happen. So
no, they seem like idiots. So,
which meant that those dynasties who are like, well, fuck you, you can't tell us what to do. Remember when we tried to secede? Well, surprise, we're doing it again. Which is the second secession wars, or it's just the War of Secession started up again, I guess.
I'm gonna try do dry brushing now. Look. No. I don't know if it's going well.
I don't think it's going well.
I think I took off too much paint.
You'll see.
I'll find out. Okay.
So yes, essentially,
they're all dying.
They're all killing each other, and the old one's like, oh god, this isn't even shooting fish in a barrel anymore. This feels like bullying, essentially. At this point,
wow, make me the bad guy.
Yeah, it's like maybe if we just like sit here, they'll just kill each other. Like let's see what happens.
So they do that for a bit.
So all of the dynasties are fighting and killing each other. A lot of them are trying to secede, and maybe they'll succeed. And so the Triarch's like, oh shit, we should do something, otherwise everyone's gonna die.
Surprise!
And that might be our fault.
Oh. Yeah. Oops, wrong direction.
So, for the first time since the Necrons started to exist, they got lucky.
They got lucky? I mean, bad luck is still some kind of luck, to be honest.
Right? No, they got lucky. They managed to find the Catan.
Uh-oh. Why do I feel like this is not going to go well?
I mean, it is 40k.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe that's the reason. Okay, so they found the Catan. How did they find them? Just like on their own planet, or?
Well, before we talk about how exactly they found the Catan, let's talk about the Catan.
Okay.
The Catan, also known as the Star Gods, or apparently in the Aeldari lexicon, Yingir?
Oh.
Yeah, apparently. Are the oldest intelligent existence in the Milky Way. Basically, when the Milky Way galaxy was born, they were there.
Right. Because the old ones went around and made a bunch of the intelligent life, so they didn't have anything to do with the Catan then.
No,
already,
no.
Right?
It's likely that the old ones started to appear a little bit later. And they obviously had to evolve and and figure
their
out technology,
spacefaring and yeah.
find out the key to eternal life and not share it with anyone. You know, all of these things.
Rude.
The Catan were, and it took them a little bit of time to become intelligent, but essentially, they're big. They're a big cloud of energy and gas.
Okay.
And they just kind of like floob around and like womp onto stars. So they feed off like solar energy.
Yeah, so they don't need any kind of technology. They just float around and chomp on stars and
yeah.
So wait, did they go eat the Necron star?
It's possible. I don't think it's ever said whether
that'll show you,
whether
son.
they did that. Well, Star-Lord's a different person. He's the guy in Guardians of the Galaxy with the. By the way, that looks really cool.
Thank you. I'm so happy. Sorry, I got really excited. It's really dark, obviously, but dry brushing's going quite well because it's so dark. It's difficult to capture.
No, like yeah, just from what I can see there currently, I'm like, oh my god, that looks really cool.
I'm actually like, it's looking a little bit more silvery than I thought than brass, but you know, we'll see how it comes out, I guess.
Yeah.
Once I've got the thing with painting and with makeup and like anything, and it always looks worse until you get right to the end and you're like, oh, there it is.
Just for my own sake of sanity,
Mm-hmm.
as I describe this and everything, just everyone know, like, you're right. Games Workshop 40k lore is spotty at best. I'll do the best with what I can. A lot of this is kind of like just stuff I've looked up on wikis and things where I'm like, okay, this is what it says.
Yeah, and as we know, like, it's Warhammer 40k has been going on for decades, so
yeah, it changes a lot.
Yeah,
and I first started in the 80s, I think, like really late 80s, early 90s.
And the thing is, you can have one rule book or one, fiction that says one thing, and then another that says something completely different and contradictory. So it's just kind of.
I'll just go with what my research finds me. So like, this is the thing in 40k. Whatever you say is lore is probably lore. Like, let's just enjoy the telling of it and the pure insanity that is 40k.
Ridiculousness.
But also at the same time, if you know of different things or have different like tidbits of information, perfectly happy to hear them, especially in the comments.
Because then we can read them and.
Yeah, just because we can't really interact with the chat during this time. Also, if you're a Patreon, there's a section of Tash's Discord where both me and Tash look in and things. So essentially, they evolved to be able to travel between stars, so that they could carry on kind of eating stars.
No.
They didn't really care about like planets and people that much. Like biologicals.
Well, like eating them or just generally, because
both. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, no one really lives on the sun, but they wouldn't care if they ate their sun and then everyone died, right?
Yeah, I mean, how often do you notice a blade of grass when you're walking down the street? It's like
not even remotely in the sphere of
unless you're a cow and you want to eat it, in which case, yeah, sure. But so the Necrontyr managed to find the Catan. Basically, I think. Oh god, this is where it gets really, really iffy. I think they had some kind of infrared searchy telescopy thing, and they were like, "What's that? Is it a giant ball of energy?" I think it's intelligent. Let's try and communicate with it. And then they did. That's like a real short form version of what probably happened.
Best friends forever.
Exactly.
Probably even made friendship bracelets whilst they waited because Necrons can't do anything.
So, the Necrontyr, they had this piece of technology.
Uh-huh.
Well, not really technology. They had this thing called necrodermis.
Necrodermis?
Which was living metal.
Oh.
Which let them, basically, once they started talking to the Catan, and they were like, hey, Catan, we're the Necrontyrs. We die really easily from, like, solar problems. And the Catan were like, oh, shit.
Whoopsie daisy.
Did we eat that sun? I think we ate that sun. I'm not sure. But let's just not mention it, and let's see where this goes.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the best solution. Great. How did they speak to Cloudy McGee?
Right. So there's this thing in 40k. It's called contrivance, and essentially what it is if they want something to happen, it's gonna fucking happen, and you don't argue with Games Workshop.
Oh, so not like orcs then. Okay.
I don't know how they started. Maybe like blinking lights or some shit. Maybe they played an orchestral song at them.
Okay, well, you don't know, so that means that you now have an E+ in homework rather than a D-.
Right. Yes.
So
I mean, I don't. How do you talk to gas? You know, it's
maybe
but
they blew up balloons.
Possibly. I don't see how that helps though.
It does.
Just okay. You get E minus D. So the Catan were like, oh, these horrible people sound like parents who've grounded you.
Do you want us to eat their son?
Well, they were like, how about you help us eat like living things, like living beings, right?
Oh.
Because we've been eating suns and stuff, but you know what it's like. You like even if it's the most lovely steak in the world, if you just eat steak, it's not that interesting. And we've been eating steak for like 400 billion years.
A really long time. We need a good burger.
We're looking for some long pork. Do you know that reference?
No.
Okay, cool.
Okay. I'm just gonna carry on.
Yeah, just don't laugh at it. It's fine. So essentially, one of the early things that that the Catan had the Necrontyr do is build some pylons, like kind of around the area.
Yeah.
They're like go build these pylons for us, please. Because we have this issue with this place called the Warp. Don't worry about it; it's fine. But we don't really like the psychic energy. We don't really like psychic energy. Don't really like the Warp. It's kind of fucked up. Not a fun place. So let's just make these pylons, and we'll just control it a little bit. It's fine.
Oh no.
It's essentially. Do you know the Eye of Terror?
No.
It's a little hole in reality where chaos just bleeds through.
Great. You know, just what we always needed.
It's where a lot of the bad stuff comes from sometimes. Sometimes.
Bloody Catan. They've just okay.
I know. So so the pylons actually were intended to close the warp.
That tells you. Okay.
But what that would kind of do is You like close off the material universe from the warp, destroying any living creatures with a soul, and leaving all other life in the galaxy for the Catan to eat. So yeah, essentially closes off the warp, and then the Catan can feed on everyone without having to worry about the warp.
So why were they like worried about the warp? Any like particular reason, or they're just like, I don't like people being able to go in there. I don't like that bad things come out of it. Brr, 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 brr.
So in my notes it says the Catan don't like the warp.
Question.
Well, in my notes it says the Catan hate the warp. Frowny face.
Right.
So I think that's the depth of emotion you're going to get from the Catan regarding the warp.
Frowny
it's essentially
face.
Like crossed arms, maybe crossed gaseous appendages, and just a frowny face where it's like, I don't like it. I don't like all of that warp over there. It's not very nice.
I put way too much paint on just then. No.
That's fine. So
I've just ruined it.
What the Necrontyrs said, you didn't ruin it, it's fine, keep going.
I've ruined it!
You're fine. What the Necrontyr said were like, hey, maybe what we can do is we can take this necrodermis, you remember the living metal?
Yeah.
And we can put you into the living metal, right?
Oh no.
So you'll have a body of living metal which will contain your form, and that'll make it easier for you to eat people.
Great. No, great.
Yeah.
Great.
So the Catan were like, yo, that's pretty nice of you, bros. Like, we should probably return the favor, right?
Yeah.
And then Necrontyr is like, I mean, you know, like, you're going to help us beat the old ones. They're assholes. They're basically like that uncle or like a father-in-law no one likes. Let's do this shit. But yeah, if you got anything else for us, that would be great, because as you can see, our son's trying to kill us, and the Catan are like, how did that happen?
Oh no, there definitely wasn't us that time. Do you want us to kill it?
That was Gary. Gary got a bit hungry.
God,
like,
we need to stop. We need to stop naming all these imaginary NPCs, because they're gonna come up again.
Disagree. I like it.
Okay.
Well, otherwise we've got to talk about Azagorod the Nightbringer, who's the Catan.
So Gary.
And the Catan were like, well, we could maybe figure out a way for us to transfer your consciousness completely into undying mechanical bodies.
Yay!
Made of living like, how cool would that be?
That would be so awesome.
Exactly. And the Necrontyrs are like, well, we'd be like immortal if that happened. And the Catan are like, right? It's genius. I imagine they were drunk, and also probably
they've been sharing the joint.
They're passing around a doobie, and it's like 3 a.m. Everything's closed. They're all really hungry.
It's a great idea.
We should open a bar.
This isn't like the old ones. They share equally. That's why they're all so high.
Exactly. The old ones are those people who at like 10 in the afternoon are like, I have exams in the morning, I should go. Don't do anything too crazy. Like Steve, look after them, yeah. And Steve is like, yeah, don't worry about it. I'm not going anywhere.
I got this.
Fucking Steve.
Basically, it's his entire fault. So
we have actually the eternal question of 40k is whose fault is it? Steve. And we figured out that it was a Necrontyr called Steve, because he was supposed to look after the Catan And Necrontyr make sure they didn't do anything stupid, and he let them get high. He went on a trip for pizza and never came back.
What kind of pizza?
Ham and pineapple.
Oh no!
Because it's fucking Steve, isn't it? It fucking is. It's ham and pineapple. And you know what you came back with, Steve? You came back with the Tyranids, you fucking dick.
Oh dear. Yeah. Doesn't surprise me though. Didn't surprise anyone.
No.
So they decided to go into living metal bodies like the geniuses that they are.
Well, it's called biotransference.
Biotransference, okay.
So, essentially, the Necrons were like, well, the Necrontyr were like, maybe. The Silent King, Sarek of the time, who was called Sarek, he was like, I need to think about this for a bit. We've been here for like 1,000 years. You know, like we don't want to rush into a relationship.
Yeah, you don't want to be changing who you are for gaseous entity.
Even a beautiful gaseous entity like yourselves, we need to think about.
We ponder that one. Yeah. Fair enough.
Also, like, just for the I've managed to track down a little bit extra information here. Apparently, because the Necrontyr son was such a dick, they were trying to study like stellar shit. Since the beginning of time, because their son was trying to kill them all the time. They're like, maybe we should understand.
We should understand why.
Yeah,
okay.
Which is possibly how they found the Catan.
Right. Okay. Well, that makes more sense than anything else. I'm going to be doing tiny painting now, so I'm going to be like, brrr. That's the official noise that I'll be making.
So essentially, there's actually a line in this that I'm looking at. It literally says, how the Necrontyr ever managed to communicate with them is unknown to the Adeptus Mechanicus. Okay, thanks Games Workshop. It's it's one of those instances of it's a little complicated. Don't worry about it.
We're just gonna say it's lost to history.
So one of the cool things about the Catan is they had the power of stars because they eat stars.
What is the power of stars when it's at home?
I mean, it's just raw energy, right?
Oh, okay. So, I mean, does that mean that they got the super radiation power?
So, as the war, and we're getting a little bit ahead of where we are currently. Essentially, the war in heaven ended up being the old ones versus the Catan and the Necrontyr. I guess the old ones kind of had like the Eldar and the Aeldari and a few others, but not like none of them really like got going particularly. They weren't that awesome comparatively, so it was pretty much the old ones.
Yeah, so it was running quite a while then, I guess.
Yeah. Essentially what that war was like just blowing up planets and blowing up systems. Like you'd roll up with a couple of your crew in a beamer, like metaphorically speaking, throw a petrol bomb at the nearest system and just blow it up, like blow up the sun, and then so.
Well, and the Catan get to just eat.
Yeah. So that's
happening. The war in heaven's still happening over time. Like
the war in heaven's happening.
Everyone's involved because people can't just talk and resolve their issues. You don't understand me, me. I'm not sharing. And now we're gonna kill each other for all time.
Yeah, so the Catan were like, yo, Here's the idea: biotransference, necrodermis, and the Silent King was like, I mean, you seem cool, but
This is a big change.
yeah. And the Catan were basically like, look, we've fought the old ones before, like ages back when we were young gaseous clouds, just trying to eke out a living, working a 9 to 5 at some gas station probably.
That's how I know they sounded like parents
Yeah.
grounding you.
Yeah. But the Catan lost, and they went and hid in like corners of the galaxy for a while. Now they're back, and they're like, yo, like, we hate the old ones. You hate the old ones. You want eternal life. We can give it to you via biotransference and necrotitis. I think it's necrodermis.
Necrotitis. Karen.
And they're like, we've been hoping for allies for millennia, and then you turn up. And it's like, between us, we can beat the old ones. They're dicks, but you have technology. We can travel faster than you. It's a match made in heaven. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong?
There you go.
Apart from
and they get immortality.
Evil murderous robots.
Yeah. So they also get immortality.
They do. What they wanted the whole time. Why did they even need to question it? I don't know.
So the Silent King, Zarek, was like, okay, decent sales pitch. And also, like, my people are currently killing each other, and they're about as unified as the console wars.
Oh.
Yeah.
Move on quickly before they latch onto it.
Or a Mac and PC advert.
Linux, damn it. That's not true. I don't know.
Yeah, who cares? So they, the Silent King and the other two Pharaons and the Triarch were like, yeah, let's talk about this. And they talked about it for a while. There was one dude who we won't really go into or talk about much, but his name is Orakan.
Orakan, okay.
And he was basically like a seer almost.
Oh.
He would like read the future and was very often right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And they did trust him, didn't trust him?
Well, Orakan was kind of trusted, but also resented. So, yeah, I know, it's basically Oracle, right? So the problem is like, he doesn't know the future. He just has sometimes glimpses into what could be.
Yeah.
So, like, there's these all-powerful entities who are like, well, let's be friends, and also here's immortality. And then you've got, like, this crazy dude at court who's like, I foresee that this will be good for us, but then bad for us. And everyone's like, what the fuck does that mean? He's like, I can only tell you what I tell you. It's like, all right, you're basically a fortune cookie. Thanks for that, but go in the corner and go write some more fortunes. So they basically ignored Orakan, and he's never let them live that down.
Yeah, I know. I mean, why would you?
But basically, like every couple thousand years, Orakan just pops his head out from his basement dwelling. It's like, I told you.
I like him.
Like, shut up, Orakan. He's like,
I like him.
Well, oh god, wait till we get some of the other characters. Necrons don't have that many characters, but the ones they do have are
they do
quite
now.
interesting.
We're providing them.
Yeah, Steve.
You're
Greg.
welcome, Games Workshop.
There you go. So Orakan was dismissed.
Yeah.
And he's like, in 5,000 years, I will say I told you. And they're like, that's impossible, mate, because we die after like 40 years. He's like, we'll see.
You'll see.
So the Triarch agreed to the alliance with the Catan, and they were like, okay, let's do this shit. And the Catan were like, yo, here's technology, here's knowledge, here's power. And the Necrons were like, oh my fuck. We can stomp planets, we can move really quickly. They had the so this is where my knowledge of Necron technology kind of falls apart. Because I think they had pylons, but they also like hacked into the webway gate.
Oh, causing trouble.
Yeah. So the Catan helped them hack into the webway gate, and they essentially were like,
I'm taking over this bee.
Yeah, so suddenly they could turn up, and like, obviously the old ones would have the technology in places of strategic importance. So the Necrons were like, aha, pew, and then they were suddenly in the middle of wherever it was the webway gate was. So they did also get lost a lot in there, and you know, like all that kind of shit as well. So it wasn't perfect.
They didn't know how to use it. They just had to like
Yeah.
and hope for the best.
Okay, so apparently the Dolmen Gate network are hacked webway spars. Okay, I didn't know that, but yes, essentially. And the stuff the Catan could do, when they like manifested into the physical world, so they're now living metal robots filled with the power of a sun.
Oh, that's spooky.
Right.
Oh no, we don't like that. Thank you.
No, it's not the best. It's very definitely not the best. And the Catan kind of started getting worshipped as greater beings by some of the Necrons, which not everyone was happy about.
No.
And Oracad was like, I told you. So
because the Silent King and his underlings will have been like, but that's our power. Don't come worship other people.
Yeah.
Outrageous.
And the Necrons started bringing them the Catan. Started bringing them like mortal slaves to eat.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So
why can't they just not? Why can't they just grow some plants? Why is everyone so hungry?
But it's you know, it's like, what are you gonna do? You've got gods who promise to make you immortal. Yeah, bring them some sacrifices. Whatever, it's fine. No one's gonna ask questions.
It's fine.
So this is where the Necrontyr started to really develop their technology, and basically they now have ridiculous weapons that are just stupid.
Great. What we always wanted.
Yeah. Just to give you an idea of like the power gap we have here, the old ones, the Catan or the Necrontyr, like back then during the War of Heaven, could have wiped out all of the current races in 40k easily. Oh.
Well, we don't want to mess. Sorry, I saw my paintbrush in my mouth. We don't want to mess with. Just why are they so angry? They don't have their pizza, I guess. But
no, Steve again. He didn't come back with that pizza. So the Necrontyr were like, "Yo, we're ready to begin our war again. Fuck the old ones. We're with you, Catan," and they like bro-fisted. And the Catan were like, "Sweet, we're just about ready to go to war with the fucking old ones. But before we do, we promised you immortality. Now let's get some fucking immortality up in this bitch. Am I right?
Am I right? You're right."
And then they pierced a beer can and opened it up, and then they drank it. Chugged.
Yeah, perfect.
So instead of sunburned, cancer-riddled flesh, they were just going to be put into necrodermis, robot bodies. The same way the Star Gods are in theirs.
Yeah. Which,
and
to me, doesn't make sense. Why could the Necrons not just figure that one out on their own? Geniuses.
Well, because you have to transfer your, the Star Gods were gas, and they were like zero transfer, and now we're this. The Necrons are like us, like people.
Okay.
Do you know how to transfer yourself into a necrodermis body? I don't think so.
I don't know.
Don't lie.
Maybe you don't know.
So essentially, the deal is that the Necrons would get biotransferred. Their organic bodies would be consumed by the C'tan because they're just bodies.
They want to eat. They're hungry.
But they're always hungry.
No point wasting it, is there? When
yeah, exactly.
Oh god.
And then once the Necrontyr are immortal robots, they can go and stomp on the old ones. Cool. So they pinky promised sweared not to betray each other, and then they went and biotransferred, which
promise.
was basically like they had massive like furnaces where they just walked into, like all of the Necrontyr just walked in and got transferred over, which is great.
I mean, at least they weren't just cooked for the C'tan to eat, Like, just walk into a furnace real quick for me. Don't ask too many questions. It's how it works.
Yeah. It's essentially Silent King went in as well. Everyone did it. And it's one of those things where they're like, it was so horrific that no one can say what exactly happened.
Right. Like, I don't want to explain this, so we're gonna say it was too horrible. Okay.
But essentially, they were wrapped in living metal, and the majority of like them got burned away. And then the thing that powered the robot metal thing was their whatever's left of themselves.
Okay.
Now you'll notice I'll say whatever's left of themselves.
Yeah.
Because what happened during the biotransference is the C'tan were like, tasty bio stuff. Also, souls. We'll eat those, sure.
Oh no.
So a large proportion of the Necrontyr's souls got eaten, and
they got left with what was left.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't like this bit. It tastes like gristle and hatred.
So the C'tan essentially ate the Necrontyr, like a lot of them. And then the Silent King came out and he was like, "Ooh, metal body."
Nice.
Yeah, like flexing his necro pecs, and being like, boof, boof, boof. And then he looks around and he's like,
"Wait a minute, I had more humans than I had more people than this."
He's like, "Hey guys," no, because they're still there.
Okay.
He's like, "Hey guys, who wants to go out for pizza?" And there's like no response. And he's like, "Ow, fuck." Oh, there's giant C'tan swoopies who are shucking all the life out of everyone, and shit, they betrayed me.
Aww.
So yeah, like he doesn't they don't have bodies with which to get ill and die. I mean, they have metal.
They can be destroyed, but they can't get like illness and hunger and.
They can get. It's very, very hard to destroy a Necron.
Mm-hmm.
They self repair. you basically have to do enough damage that they can't self-repair.
Yeah, makes sense.
Otherwise you like shoot a foot off, and then in like half a day, just
Another
a foot
foot.
there.
Yeah, that makes sense. God, I just think I got paint somewhere I shouldn't have.
So the biotransference and also the eating that the Catan did had a little bit of a side effect that they didn't mention. Loss of soul.
Great.
So, you know who they are? They're essentially the Necrons are now essentially the ghost pirates from the first Pirates of the Caribbean.
Well,
Where they're like, oh, food turns to ash, drink withers the tongue, and
but they still have their purpose, right? They're still pissed off at everyone, and they just
sure, they might be a little bit more pissed off now.
yeah. I mean, they've got betrayed again. Well, I guess they weren't betrayed the first time, but now the second spacefaring race they've met has like fully betrayed them, turned them into robots, and eaten half of.
Yeah, they tried to make a friend. It didn't really work out.
This is why I'm going to be alone forever.
Yeah. So, however, having said all that, they're basically immortal. They're super strong. Radiation can do basically fuck all to them. And they're really, really hard to kill. And yeah, age, who cares?
Well, it's probably lucky because the Catan probably also ate their son.
I mean, I'm not sure about that.
I bet they did beforehand. They were like, and they're not going to need it after, right? So, may as well.
Maybe that's why we don't know the name of it, because they just ate the son. So, the plus side is they don't care, the majority of them, because they don't have souls. So it's like,
well, that's inconvenient.
Steve comes back. Steve comes back and he's like, "Hey guys, I got pizza," and they're like, "Negative, don't need pizza. Fuck off, bitch."
Negative.
And he's like, "Fine, I'm gonna go back to my Tyranid friends. I'm gonna show them where you guys live."
Ah, yeah. Like that.
Although he probably wouldn't, because
I bet he would.
Well, the thing is the Tyranids would be like, "Oh, Necrons, robots." You clearly don't know me as well as you think, Steve. Not that interested in robots, actually. If you find somewhere with actual biologicals, let me know.
Hit me up with that info. Sorry, I'm just fixing a little thing that I did wrong. Hopefully.
No problem.
Painting's hard.
There was another really cool, nice thing about it, which is essentially no more infighting.
Oh yeah, because they don't care.
Yeah, they're all soulless machines who follow orders, because essentially, during the biotransference, every machine got command protocols. Like essentially, the Silent King, Sarek, the one who was like, "Oh, I'm not sure about this," but then was like, "Yeah, okay. Shut up, emoticon." I can't remember what it was actually. Omicron. What the fuck was his name? Omicron. What the fuck is his name?
I don't know. I keep putting silver on when I keep meaning for bronze. Orican, who lives in the
He lives in the basement and comes out every now and then like a Jack in the Box.
I told you.
I told you. Yeah, essentially, Zarek was like, "Hey, these people are all now my servants or my warriors, or basically they're his he just tells them what to do."
Well, at least they added those command protocols, so that's something, I suppose.
Yeah. And he's like, "Sweet, I will tell them to do things, and they will do it, and no one will complain." And also, Orakan will shut the fuck up if I tell him. And he's like, no, I won't. I still have my mind. He's like, not for long, old man.
Oh.
Go back to your bonsai tree. And he's like, I can't. The Catan ate it.
Ate my tree. Oh no.
It's why Orakan hates the Catan.
I mean,
they ate his
bonsai tree. You know how long he'd been looking after that? At least a month.
Right. That's like 10 years in Necron.
Necrontyr time. Yeah, everything dies.
It's like that. You know that story of the guy who's the last man on Earth? He's like, finally, I have time to read my books. And then his glasses fall off and like shatter, and he's like, no.
No.
It was the same for Orakan, where he's like, immortality. Finally, I can finally spend time tending to my tree. It's just like this withered pile of ash. He's like, no, Catan. How did I not foresee this?
Oh.
Cruel irony.
Cruel world.
But yeah, just incidentally, all of the all of the Necrons pretty much went through it. So even like Orakan, who was like, "This is going to turn out badly."
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have a lot of choice, right? So.
Oh, well, you know. Well, yeah, it's there is a little aspect of like, what are you gonna do? Die in 2 years?
It's like you don't have a lot of choice in it. You're gonna die now, or you're gonna have a bad time later. What's the better option?
I mean, it'd be lovely to go back and ask the Necrontyr.
What do you think of this? Yes.
But they're all mindless. Well, most of them are now mindless machines. So.
Poor babies.
Don't feel bad for them.
Well,
but
I
yes,
can, but now that they're Necron robots, I can.
They wouldn't care. They're like, I hate you, mindless, soulless machine, and they're like, okay.
I mean, that makes sense. I hate you too.
Yeah.
Crawling.
So the Silent King Zorak was like, okay, cool. Let's go fuck up the old ones, and no arguing.
Hooray.
And everyone was like, yes. And he was like, wait, was that a yes to no arguing? Or no, you know what? I've been dealing with people with actual autonomy for too long. Let's just go.
It's done. Let's carry on. Yeah.
So they marched off and they started fighting the old ones. And them and the Catan, the Catan were basically in charge. And I say basically, but actually. The Silent King and all the Necrons served the Catan.
Yeah.
Because the Catan, they were like, hey, what the fuck are you gonna do? Rebel against us? We're gods. Check our shit out.
We made you what you are.
Yeah. May have betrayed you to get there, but it's really not important when you come down to it. Yeah.
I think I fudged up pretty badly.
Yeah, it looks good.
So, they're off to fight the old ones. Because the Catan said so.
They're off to fight the old ones. Well, and also they want to, or they wanted to. And there are still leaders and people who have their own minds. It's like the majority of the common person in Necrontyr like lost their soul and basically became a mindless machine. Some of the stronger Necrontyrs are, they're still Necrons, but
yeah, because they need commanders.
But essentially, with them hacking the with them hacking the webway gates,
yeah,
the Necrons could now move really quickly. Pew!
Yay!
So the old ones got fucking bodied.
That's all they had.
Yep. The old ones started losing, getting their ass kicked. The Necrons were servants of the Star Gods. The Catan, because they feasted on the entirety of the Necrontyr race, were like, Ha ha ha! Now we're even more powerful, and I think they fed on the old ones too a little bit when they could. And yeah, the Necrons didn't really care too much. The majority of them, like the leaders, were kind of like fucking tan assholes. But they didn't say it too loud. Essentially, like when they're all sitting down for dinner, and the Catan were like, okay, so this is food. They'd like flip them the bird under the table so no one could see.
Bloody teenagers.
But they knew that they were doing it, so
they
like,
knew.
yeah, fuck you.
That'll show them.
And then they like ran up to their room and jumped on their beds and played Linkin Park, crawling, obviously.
Oh, they haven't moved on from Linkin Park yet? Oh, honey.
No, I mean, they're immortal. They don't need to move on anymore.
No.
Could
have gone a little bit heavier into metal, but okay. Oh! Living metal? No? Okay.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay. I'll just carry on, shall I?
So, the command protocols that were put in the Necrons was basically like, follow the Silent King and also the Catan and do what they say. And the Silent King gets to command the Necrons.
Yeah.
So, yeah, with the Necrons marching for them and fighting for them, and the power of like devouring an entire species, the old ones got beaten, got beat back, got
shown who's boss.
Shown who's boss. Got sent to their room. They were listening to Enya.
But they weren't like dead or, majority.
Well, so
oh yes.
Have you ever heard anyone talk about the old ones?
You now.
Aside from me now.
And that one time in Chaos. But like,
really?
I feel like it might have been the Necron episode. I don't really know. No one knows what happened in Chaos.
That's true. Who knows what happened in Chaos?
I feel like I've heard the words before.
Essentially, the Catan were like, "Haha, can't stop us now, dickheads! Wee!" And then they'd eat a star while the Necrons like destroyed planets.
Oh. Little team. They made a friend finally, sort of, mostly.
Sometimes, well, it's kind of a fucked up relationship, but sure.
Look, I didn't say that it was healthy.
Have you ever made a friend at school where they're like, "You're my slave now"?
Change everything about you, and then also I'm gonna put command protocols in so that I can tell you what to do and control you. Okay, great. You're not gonna die of cancer anymore. You're gonna die of war.
I have a plan. Gonna go blow up the headmaster's office. It's like, God. What?
That doesn't seem like a whole plan.
So, some of the friends of the old ones, they were like, "Hey, we'll help too," and then they got fucking bodied and then fed to the Catan too.
Yeah.
There was a Catan dude called Neadrazath.
So you're gonna say Harold or like
no.
Harold?
No, none of these have normal names.
Not.
Neadrazath, the burning one.
Right.
He wanted to go burn shit in space, and so he's like, "Hey guys, this is how you breach the webway," and then they made the dolmen gates that let them hack the webway, and that let them move quicker and let them beat the old ones pretty easily.
So jerk then.
Yeah. And that let them travel all over the place and take over the galaxy along with the Catan. And the Catan were like, well done, friends slash slaves.
Great. Your prize is what?
You
Anything
get to
good?
carry on serving us. Good for you.
Yay.
Yeah, and they basically like just wiped the old ones off the galaxy. Because I imagine Games Workshop is like, hey, maybe we want to bring back the old ones sometime, or maybe they went somewhere else, or we just want to keep our options open.
Mm-hmm.
So the old ones not necessarily destroyed. They might be destroyed. But also, if you can sell more miniatures, don't destroy anything. So their fate is a little left open, where it's like, nah, who knows? Essentially, the Catan owned the galaxy, and the Necrons were their servants.
Were there?
And so,
yeah.
So the Necrons were like, go to a planet, get population of planet, take to Catan, eat. Here you go. They were basically Uber Eats.
Ugh. I keep ruining this. I'm going to be honest.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's be honest. Like, just put it in profile for a second. Like, turn it so to face the camera.
To face the camera? It is.
Yeah. So, everyone watching, that is a first attempt at painting. I imagine we've all had our own experiences with the first attempt at painting.
I might see if I can just mess with the brightness a little.
Sure. It's really good. So, on behalf of everyone who sucks at painting miniatures and never got good, I told you. But yeah, it looks good. Don't worry about it.
Little break, I think, because I need a stretch.
Yes, I was also going to. And next up, we'll talk about the rebellion.
Ooh.